Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Black Flag Podcast. I'm tonight's host, Will Bellboy. I got all the boys with me, Daniel and Sam up there, Brett Ballistics down there in the corner, and our spectacular libertarian hero. How should we?
Whoa. Let's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
get
we
too
want to.
far ahead of ourselves here.
We already had the pinnacle of libertarianism on last time with Reed Coverdale.
Oh,
Yep,
he's
yep,
pretty much Mr. Liberty. Yeah.
for sure. But we have Mrs.
Inside
Liberty,
joke
the
there, yeah.
Forced mommy. How you doing tonight?
Good. Thank you for inviting me on.
Restore the patriarchy. Or matriarchy, excuse me.
Heck yeah! So guys, we were just bullshitting before this, but y'all want to talk shit about that anti-war rally that we got going on? Is anybody excited more than me? Or
I was really excited for it, and then I found out there was someone speaking I didn't like, so I decided to boycott the whole thing and just stay home. Like, I mean, anti-war is important, but it's not that important, right?
yeah,
Like, it's not like World War III is coming up or anything like that.
yeah, for sure. It's better to, like, instead of like finding any kind of like political allies, to really just virtue signal to the other people that agree with you on Twitter and just let them know where you stand.
The other thing is, they said like we'd have to align with other people and like marry our sons to their daughters and whatnot, and like, you know, do like blood commitments and stuff like that. And I decided, you know, that's just too far for me. I'm not gonna. Everyone keeps talking about it like it's some sort of alliance with the left. It's like, we're going to the same fucking event. That's it. Like, there's no like alliance. There's no like, there's none of that. They're throwing an anti-war rally. We're the Libertarian Party. We should be at this. So we're going to an anti-war rally too. Like, who cares? I don't know.
Yeah,
it would be even worse by not having the LP there.
Yeah, I've always wondered, like, why are alliances so frowned upon? Like, shouldn't we try and build pathways where we can? And yet, anytime people build headway with any type of alliance, the first thing that's everyone else does is try and break it down. It's like,
Yeah,
shouldn't we be trying to find common ground? Yeah.
we should have a game called Fed or Autistic. I don't know.
That would be a good one, actually.
Yeah, this person.
No shortage of material.
Right.
No, that really is it, because it's like everybody, like every person that's in this like political sphere that we all kind of swim in online and stuff, it's just like everybody wants to make political alliances with people, but especially I think some of the people that have been critical of this rally, like some of the more, not to paint them all in one broad brush, but the classical liberal type libertarians that are wanting to kind of, I don't know, they're nitpicking at something that if this was like an anti, marijuana or like a, legalized marijuana rally, they would have no problem with these people, but they're just wanting to nitpick.
Oh, they'd find a problem still.
Yeah, maybe they would. Maybe they would. I feel like it's like more nefarious reasons than just they're not comfortable with, some MAGA communists or some weird shit like that. I just feel like maybe not nefarious. I don't know. What do y'all?
I think there is something nefarious going on, because it takes so little effort to cause shitstorms on Twitter, and that's all you need to do, and then everything just can start to unravel. So yeah, I do. I mean, I don't have anything to confirm that, but that's, if I had to guess, there is definitely something going on.
So I feel like there's three different camps in the Libertarian Party. There's a camp that says we should appeal to the left. We need to be similar to the progressives as possible while still being libertarian. So we need to frame it in the most progressive possible way to attract the most people and be pleasing to the most people. They sort of test out, they look at stuff that we put out. They don't see how much traction it's getting, how many views is it getting, how many people are resonating with this. They ask themselves, how can we offend the least number of people when we put our perspective out there? What is the safest thing we could put up there? And then there's the right wing, not the right wing, but there's the people that are trying to appeal to the right, and they're doing a little bit more the opposite, where they're just trying to, I don't know how to say it, but they're trying to, participate more in the culture war, and a woman is, defining what a woman is and stuff like that, which, it's great, it's necessary, but, and then I think there's one more culture, which is just the libertarian culture, where they're pushing libertarianism, and I would put like Reed Coverdale in there, like Clint Russell, Dave Smith, some of these hardcore people that are just pushing libertarian culture, and that's more what we need to get and lean to. One of the biggest things about the Mises Caucus and what made them so successful is we brought in the libertarian influencers. We never would have had a shot without them, but we said, I think Michael Heiss's, I forget what the 3 branches are, but I know one of them is just connecting with the influencers. And I think we're constantly making the mistake of alienating. We did that with Josh Smith. We decided Josh Smith couldn't be vice chair, he had to be at large. And even though if anyone's ever been on a committee in the LP, we know those 2 positions are almost exactly the same thing. And so everyone lost their minds, and there was a huge divide over just Josh Smith. Then there is a huge divide over the New Hampshire tweets. It's like what New Hampshire is doing is they're building their own culture, separate from the progressive, separate from just right wing. They're building their own base, and I think it's really important. And then we're doing the same thing with this. I don't know. I feel like we flipped the other side. We're appealing to progressives or something. We're virtue signaling against a pedophilia by not allowing one speaker to speak, which is fine if you never invited him to speak, like, and you're like, I don't know about this guy, he has a terrible past. But once he's already invited, like, just let it go, let him speak. He's an expert in his field. He's not speaking to anything other than his field. I just think I think we need to refocus on what we're trying to do. And Jimmy Dore, he was on the Timcast recently, and he had a huge rant about like how we don't agree with one speaker's politics. We're going to boycott this whole anti-war rally, and how ridiculous that is. And it's like, how is this guy more based than so many people in the Libertarian Party? Like, that's what the Mises Caucus was supposed to be. There's supposed to be this culture that aligned with the people creating a culture of just liberty and being based, I guess. That's my rant.
Why can't we all be based? I feel you, brother.
Yeah. Just don't confuse that with that Brad Palumbo guy or whatever.
No, I think Brad Palumbo and Hannah Cox define what based is.
Don't desecrate that term.
No, I don't know. I've like I guess I get like online and like I get a little pissy at some of these libertarian our allies that are mad at this rally. I'm trying to like really get to a point, because I'm normally like the kumbaya guy. Like, we need to find ways to talk from different sides of the Libertarian Party. But I like this whole thing, like just the attempt to just destroy this rally or whatever. They're not going to destroy it. They just kind of like caused kerfuffles for past 3 weeks on Twitter. But it's just like really made me put a hard line. Like, there are some issues where if we're talking about American imperialism, and like that's something that we care about to be like a point in the Libertarian Party to go against, we really need everybody to be at least kind of halfway on board with how we talk about American foreign policy, especially when we are at the brink of World War III. I don't know.
One other thing I was going to mention, I forgot, is like people are acting like how bad this is going to look for us, having a pedophile speak. And this is just terrible imagery, like terrible, terrible, terrible. And then it's like, we're all talking about that. And then Tulsi Gabbard is just like, hey, can I speak at this event? Like, and it's not like Tulsi Gabbard is like a principled person. Like, she endorses neocons all the time. She's not anti-war in any meaningful sense. That's her issue because she's a politician, and that's what she thinks she can appeal to people. Like, there's so many presidents, they run on being anti-war and it works for them. It's not a terrible strategy. But she's coming to the event. She only cares about self-image. That, to me, says this is going to have a good image. And it's just ridiculous that the Libertarian Party cares more about this than even Tulsi Gabbard. Like, we should be the ones that have that are more, as Jimmy Dore would say, we take this seriously.
Right. Yeah, I think that's well said. You're going to have to form coalitions. I think there's some people that are like strongly against coalitions, and I don't understand why. But if we're ever going to have anything accomplished, since we have so few numbers and so little power and resources, like we're going to have to reach do work with people outside of the LP in order to achieve our goals. And also, stopping war isn't something that is just purely libertarian. I mean, there's most people are would be against what's going on overseas if they really knew the whole story.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Well,
Mom, you got any input to any of our office rambling?
I like it. I wanted to say stuff, but I don't want to sound like I'm tooting my own horn. But
toot your own horn.
So like talking about coalition building, just since I don't know if this will put like a red flag on me, but I am a state organizer for Mises out here in Colorado. So I'm pretty dang involved and in our board for LP Colorado and everything. And we since I've been more involved, I've had to do like a quick couple speeches at events and stuff. And the GOP's reached out to me and they all hate each other. And they're like, we're sick of the GOP. So like they been inviting me to their events and stuff. And then I'm super stoned to the bone. Sorry. Yesterday I went to the Capitol and there was about a Unity Party, Green Party, Libertarian Party, a single issue like approval voting party, the League of Women, a couple other parties. We all came together to fight this bill that this bitch was trying to pass that would make it harder for minor party people to get on the ballot. So like we all came together. And so then I went out to eat with the Green Party guy we were emailing today. So like I don't understand why people don't want to do coalitions. And especially if it's, oh my God, if it's a GOP or anyone from the right, there's these people who care about that. They're like, we can't, like out here, they're like, oh my God, the Mises are Republicans. And it's like, A, why do you have to label me? B, like, I don't give a fuck what you call me. Like, we got more fucking important fish to fry. Like, what are you fucking talking about? So, I don't know. I agree with like the three kind of camps you put, because there's like some people care so much about right or left or whatever, and it's like, let's just fucking do the work. You know what? And that was the second time I went down there. It was such a joy to look them in their faces and talk shit to their faces. Like, if like I'm addicted, I'm hooked. I'm gonna be going down there as much as I can now, because it's like, why the hell not? So
I gotta try that.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds fun.
it feels so good. And the first time I went, I said, everyone else was giving like data and facts, and I got up and I was like, on behalf of the Libertarian Party, blah blah blah. And we like this legislation because it protects us, the citizens, from you. And I like pointed at him and I looked at them all and I was like, just felt certain to say that to him, And it's like, fuck you, dumbass. They think they're above us. I'm like, you aren't worthy of shit. Like, so if I can talk shit to you guys, I'm in.
What was the policy again that y'all were pushing forward?
Yesterday's was, we were trying to get a bill killed that would make it harder for minor parties to get on the ballot. And then the other one I went to was just like a pre-protection to say that the COVID vaccine will never be on the vaccine schedule. And the only people who were against that were people who work for the government. It was so, and then there was way more like parents and everybody there saying like, and it would hurt no one. If you want to give your kid the damn thing, do it. This just said it wasn't going to be forced. And like, who would be against that? Oh, well, government and all the fucking government lackeys, like school nurse, professor. It was just like, it was so obvious what was going on, but whatever. So that one got killed, unfortunately. But
yeah. And
yesterday, if anyone knows Karen Ann, she gave the best testimony on her channel. She went over it last night and played her recording, and it was great. It was really great. So,
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
She's a fire for sure.
Yeah, she'll say it, and she basically says what she was like. This legislation was only brought forth because of a feud in the GOP, and you were mad about a spoiler, and like she just said it. Like, it was awesome, and she was on Zoom, so we could see her. But that was funny.
Yeah, I
Yeah, that
think
kind of legislation is coming across the country. Like down here in Georgia, we've been pretty set as far as our ballot access, but now that like our Senate race, we caused a runoff. Now the GOP is definitely coming for us as far as ways to kick us
This
off.
is your second runoff, right, Georgia?
Yeah. Shane Hazel, it's same Senate seat too. Shane Hazel did it the first time, and then Chase Oliver just recently. Yeah.
By the way, I actually watched Chase Oliver's debate. He actually did pretty damn good.
Yeah.
But he lucked out because the GOP guy didn't actually show up to the debate. So who are they gonna have Warnock debate himself? So they actually had to let him talk. And
that GOP guy was Herschel Walker. And
yeah,
he was a hilarious motherfucker to watch on the campaign.
Was that the black guy?
The what?
He said, "Was that the black guy?" And he was
Yeah,
like,
the
"I'm Ricky
African
Bobby."
American?
He was saying he was Ricky Bobby and stuff.
He's a football player, and he's lost his mind. He's like one of the best football players ever, like out of like Georgia. So he's just royalty down here. And but he was as dumb as a fucking box of bricks. I mean, he was just saying all kind of wild shit, and just people loved him. Good old boys, just like we love Herschel because he's gonna tackle inflation, is what they would say, and just I don't know.
Yeah, we didn't even do that in Minnesota, and they're trying to increase our threshold.
Yeah, from 5%, which is unachievable, to 10%.
Yeah, to achieve major party status, and then otherwise we have to keep petitioning for ballot access every single year.
Yeah, and I mean everything this bitch said too. She was like, she tried to like turn everything around. She's like, this wouldn't make it pay to play. So when I went up there, I'm like, this would make it pay to play. Like everything she said, I tried to say opposite. And then she was like, people don't have time. She didn't know how the minor parties work. She was only trying to go at it from the caucus system, which would affect the minor parties, because the caucus system in the GOP was messed up this year. There was fights or whatever. And they're like, people don't have time to show up to a caucus meeting. They're not in but then she's like, oh, but people can totally get 30 volunteers to go out and get signatures and stuff. And it's like, lady, what are you fucking talking about? Like, you can't even get like 5 volunteers on libertarians. Bless everybody, but everyone's fucking busy and going to, like, it's just hard, And so everything she said, she got creamed. Karen Ann said that. She's like, we creamed her.
I gotta watch this. This sounds great.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, going back to just what we were talking about just a minute ago with the exclusionary aspects of the Libertarian Party. Like, I've just always found it really interesting how this party in particular seems to be so militant against diversifying. Like, everybody within their faction feels like they understand libertarianism and everybody else has it wrong. And I feel like that's, like you said, there's something nefarious about that. There's something nefarious going on that's driving that, because the reality is the Libertarian Party really when I saw the Libertarian Party, it was kind of like a bright light beacon of hope. It's like, when I saw it, it's like, oh, here's a party that believes what I believe. They believe that we shouldn't use violence to get other people to act a certain way, that you can't, I always say, you can't legislate morality, like, because I mean the reality is you can't write laws and make people more moral. That doesn't happen. Morality is created on a basic, you could say grassroots, but a basic community level. You having a strong community, having the interaction between community members being encouraged, just a strong, cohesive interaction at the local level. That's really what when I came to the Libertarian Party, that's what attracted me about it. Is it's like, oh, here's a party that's not focused on the elite system, but it's focused down on the individual person. And so I've always found it so interesting that we live in this kind of this dichotomy where we have really the most freedom but also the most like people wanting to exclude other people, which it doesn't make sense. It's like, so I mean, there has to be something else going on, because why do we have this system that's like, well, as long as you believe that we shouldn't be using force to coerce people into things, and that we can come to understandings through conversation, then we should be open to everybody, because the best ideas should win out. And so it should never be well, we shouldn't have this person, because if somebody puts forth a bad idea and we're having open discourse, we should be able to make a logical argument that shows the bad idea for what it is. And that's the thing that it's just always bothered me about this party. And so, I mean, it's like, I love everything it stands for, but then you have these fractioned bases that are always trying to chase people away.
You're making me feel bad, Daniel, because I normally am that way, but just the war rally broke me. This bullshit when they're like wanting to shun Daniel McAdams. I have been like, now we must bully the nerds out of the party.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I do think I
always
believe we need to do some. I do believe in some gatekeeping within our own ranks,
yeah.
to some extent at least, to keep us solid in our principles. But I mean, like, as far as like coalitions and stuff, like, yeah, that's completely different. We don't need to worry about people that don't believe something different, as long as the goal we're fighting for. Okay, we'll work with you on this, and then we'll argue about some other economic issue, and we'll stay away from them then. But
yeah, like if there's an anti-war bill, are we going to say, oh, like only the purest libertarian can sign it, or like something like?
Yeah,
it doesn't really matter, like,
for sure.
But we definitely need to do some gatekeeping, because there are some, just weirdos.
Like,
but
to these like weird arguments now, where it's like, now we're arguing what anti-war means. Like they're sitting like the anti-war rally now, they're like, y'all like Putin, so that's technically pro-war, and it becomes this exhausting.
I'm so glad I stayed out of this one. And like,
we're dragging you in.
Come on, come with us, fight! Like,
fight
the nerds with us.
There was like a split second I wanted to come out there because the Maryland Mises guys were like joking about me coming out and be a booth girl, but I was like, I'll just come and hang out. But then I just didn't want to spend the money to go to DC of all places. No offense, but I was like, and then there was the controversy, and I'm like, I'm staying out of it. But I probably agree with you guys. If I knew everything, I probably agree with you. I'm sure.
I will say that the controversy is probably just in the Libertarian Party, like no one outside. Well, no, Jimmy Dore did mention it on Timcast, so I guess it is bigger than just the party.
I mean, it was so loud within the Libertarian Party that it caught his attention. I mean, that's
because everyone was talking about it, and it's like,
the problem is that all the noises are within the Libertarian Party, but it's loud enough that it's scaring other people away. And we don't want to scare other people away. We want to invite people so that they can hear our ideas, so we can prove our ideas are better than other people's. That's the whole point of having a rally, is to get people together who are like-minded, so that you can persuade them that we're like-minded in even more ways, and bring that support, build that base, so that people realize they're not in this fight alone. I mean,
and also I do think a kind of a flaw within the Mises Caucus is, I think we kind of took that wood chipper meme maybe a little too far. Because I mean,
take things too far on the internet. No.
No, it's really shot the Mises Caucus in the foot several times. I mean, like we had that whole Tom Woods thing.
Yeah.
It just like was egg on their face. And then.
But then you have people like me who are actually out doing stuff. Who should be the attention, and because there's a lot of people who are fucking out doing shit, but there's just a hierarchy of attention, and that's just how it goes, And
no, exactly. Like everybody doing the hard work's out there doing it, and everybody not is sitting there talking shit on Twitter, and that's what people are attracted to, is just that the fight.
And you can totally do both. I talk plenty of shit on Twitter,
right?
And I do shit too.
Well, that kind of goes to like the difference between like the influencers and the people doing like the work in a lot of sense, and they're both doing work in the same sense. Like Dave Smith's doing a lot of work, but he's not like speaking to his city council. He's not like
we need working on message spreader. Like he's a message spreader,
right? We need both of them, and we need them working together. So we need like the people nerding out about legislation at the local level, which is awesome. But they need to kind of sit back and be like, okay, you're the message spreader. We're going to listen to you on this. Like I'm more of a better probably spreader, I guess, than like I am with nerding out on stuff. Like
Super
I would
spreader.
never, I'm a super spreader. I would never go to someone and start like telling them how to like do local action. And when I know they're a bigger nerd about it than I am, they know way more about it than I do. Like I lean on those people. I would expect them to do the same the other way, I guess. Just be like, just because someone's speaking that you don't like, trust us, this is going to be great. It'll all work out. Just take it easy.
And if you can do it better. Prove it. Prove you can do it better. I always say that.
Throw a bigger rally.
Like the messaging, always the fight about messaging. It's like, okay, if your messaging is better, prove it. Prove it. You can make all the messaging you want. Prove it. Like,
exactly.
It doesn't work like that, though, does it?
No.
Well, what's next? What's the next topic, Will?
What's next? I don't know. You just gonna throw it at me like that?
Well, we could talk about I suppose the spy balloon's old news, but I just, when that came out, I was just like, that looks like a weather balloon. And the whole time I'm like, that really, really looks like a weather balloon. And everyone's freaking out. I'm looking for like evidence that it's anything other than a weather balloon. And I tweeted out that it was the balloon of mass destruction or something. And then it was like 2 days later, Jack Posobiec was like, posted some article. I just read the headline where it was like, might have been filled with like nuclear explosives and all this stuff. And it's like, I don't know. It's so crazy to me that, obviously the Chinese aren't investing their top technology into balloons. Like there's drones, there's satellites, there's, someone could just fly over it and be like, oh, whoopsies, with a camera, or like there's a million ways to get footage without just a weird balloon. I don't know. And it's just like, if the conservatives, if you just say anything about China, anything about pro-war, it doesn't matter. The logic, we think they're logical because they know what a woman is, but you bring up a balloon, they lose their fucking minds, and they're all, let's go to war.
Did you see the latest news that I think it was called a Pico balloon? That one of the balloons that shot down was like a $12 to $180 balloon, depending on the size. That they spent $500,000. Well, no, they missed the first time. Right? They missed the first time. So it was just about $1 million to shoot this $180 balloon down. And
they missed because they had a heat-seeking missile on something that didn't even produce heat because it's like zero technology in it. It's a fucking balloon. So they missed with their.
It's hard to really even just like make a comedic take on this because it's so fucking ridiculous. It's just.
You want to know what's sad? They probably miss all the time and like blow up like little kids and like. All sorts of stuff with these missiles.
This is the reason that South Park had to end. Sarcasm doesn't work anymore.
Did they end?
It can't compete with real life.
Are they over?
If?
Oh my gosh!
What if it was a real UFO and those fucking stupid Neanderthals just shot like an alien UFO? What if it was the aliens and they just?
Well, this is the funniest thing too. They're like unidentified object. We just blew it out of the sky with $500,000. Like,
yeah.
Shouldn't you at least identify it first? I don't know.
Exactly.
And then it just happens to end up in the ocean with no retrievable parts. Like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Professionals. They're professionals. So.
They know what they're doing. We're in good hands.
We've talked about the news so much, it makes you wonder like what was going on at the same time that they weren't talking about.
That's every time something happens, it's like, well, what are they covering for? I don't know. The Nord Stream pipeline they blew up?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. They're definitely.
Yeah, they admitted it.
Well, I really like how on Reed's appearance on Timcast that Tim brought it up as that that Substack article came out, and Reed's like, "That's news? Like we knew this months ago."
Yeah.
Sorry, I tried to mute while I was coughing, but go.
Oh no, I was saying Biden. Yeah, Biden said if there's an invasion, that pipeline's going away. And then everybody was suddenly surprised when it came out that he ordered the attack. It's like, he said it.
I am
Do we trust him or not?
I am very surprised by how often this happens in the news. Like something happens, everyone agrees, like all the NPCs just agree with whatever the narrative is, and then there's us who are like, this is what really happened, and then it's like a year, 6 months, a week later, like they catch up, and I don't even understand why they ever just even give up the narrative. Like, why not just keep it going?
I don't know,
It
man.
makes no fucking sense to me.
We're in this weird era where it's just like it's more than just Walter Cronkite telling people,
those were the good old days. That's where everything was accurate.
Well, in
Yeah.
1984, in 1984, they purposely had to change the narrative. It was all part of the process of getting people to go along with the system. As they changed the narrative frequently on purpose, making people select or accept new truths constantly. And that's what's going on. People have to constantly accept new truths. So you either believe the system or you don't.
Maybe it is something to be like, well, no, we are honest. We're telling you the truth right here. Like,
well, if they tell somebody lies and you just don't believe them, then they can start telling the truth and no one will believe it.
It's true.
I don't believe shit. I don't believe anything on its surface at all.
Do you believe in aliens?
I mean, I don't think about it much, but I can't like disprove them. So I don't know.
I believe it's possible, but I don't count out the fact that they might be preparing an alien invasion psyop. So like, I got to be very skeptical of everything I hear. I don't put anything past these people.
If aliens existed, this would be the perfect way to like take over the planet. Just get us all like in an uproar against each other. And they come in, really guys, we can offer you peace.
You know what makes me think aliens do exist? Or no? What makes me think aliens don't exist is the government thinks they exist now. It's like they're covering for
sure
them not existing or something. I don't know.
No, you're right. Like I used to really be kind of hard on like, oh man, I want to believe type shit.
I know.
And now that the government's just like coming out and being like, yeah, some rascally aliens.
Like, it's like the new China thing where it's just like every time they mention it, it's like, oh, they're selling us something.
The world we live in has ruined just being a conspiracy theorist. I just used to like talking about fucking,
What, you don't like being right all the time?
No, but I don't like just where it's now we're talking about fucking Trump's election instead of like, I don't know, gay frogs and shit. But
yeah, the conspiracies have gotten boring.
It used to be like we were talking about the Illuminati and aliens and shit and not going to the moon and all this kind of crazy shit, Bigfoot, and now it's just like normie boomer shit to where we're arguing about election. They're like, this is conspiracy now,
right?
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of the downside of like YouTube versus like whatever Ryan Dawson is on.
Yeah, any idiot can start a show now. Like there should be a bar.
Which, by the way, I should put a link to Ryan Dawson's Holly Coaster Substack. It's wild.
Sam, I'm seeing you go down that road. That is a dangerous road to go down.
I'm all the way down that road.
You're going to get there, and then you're going to go, well, what do we do with this information? And you just got to turn around.
That's exactly what.
I've been listening to Richard Grove for fucking months now. Like, my head is just...
Guys.
I don't even like...
We shouldn't even be mentioning his name.
Right?
This podcast is getting dark.
He's got me to buy so many fucking books here.
It's getting black.
I got David Rockefeller's memoirs, for fuck's sake. I mean, like, if you just actually read what these people... Yeah, if you read what these people write in their own words, I mean, it's fucking... I mean, they lay this shit out.
You guys are gonna scare Forest Mommy away.
Oh, here.
We're getting into the JQ now.
Please, I know they're doing it all. What's the quote? Like, whatever you think they're doing much worse. Like, always.
That's probably pretty accurate. Yeah, I've been like my political journey. This is the first time where I've been really. I joined the Libertarian Party and I saw all the infighting and stuff, and I just kind of like.
Infighting is so dumb. It's so dumb.
But I was gonna say, like, I just kind of accepted it. And I was like, okay, this is part of it. It's politics. Like, and I just fight this, and even like politics, like I knew how dark it was. Not to the extent I do now, but I knew like terrible things were happening, definitely with war. But it's been like the first time where it's actually starting to like get to me, where it's like I need to like unplug or something because it's
Tell me
and I've
about
been
it,
in
wait
this
till you hear
for
this.
All right, let's hear it.
Yeah. So this is the infamous
This is
line
acceptable
from
to
this memoir.
read, right?
Yes. Oh, yes. Well, I mean, it's been done before. Page 405 of David Rockefeller's memoirs, right in the chapter called "Proud Internationalist."
Proud
Says,
Boys, yeah.
yeah, it says here, some even believe we are part of a secret cabal working against the best interests of the United States, characterizing my family and me as internationalists, and of conspiring with others around the world to build a more integrated global political and economic structure. One world. If that's the charge, I stand guilty, and I am proud of it. It's in his own book.
I kind of like that guy, just owning up to it.
Yeah, at least he's honest. That's more that you can.
I prefer that over like Joe
Biden.
Biden, even though like Joe Biden doesn't control anything. Did you see Pete Quinones's new meme? Or I won't describe it. I guess never mind. I'll leave you hanging.
I was blocked by Pete years ago. Everybody was like, "He's back on," and I got excited. I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot that argument."
He went postal libertarian, is what I call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still stuck around with him. I kept listening to him. He kind of calmed down on his anti-libertarian stuff, but he still kind of throws in some jabs. But he's
Yeah,
still
that's
worth listening to.
That was the whole thing. Like when I found him during COVID, he was talking to everybody about everything, and then all of a sudden it became selling the stuff, selling this, and I'm like, don't sell me on some philosophy. Teach me about them, but don't sell me. And it's like it was being pushed, but
I still like him. He's definitely coming on at some point, but
that'd be awesome.
He's got a wealth of knowledge.
For sure.
All right. Should we talk about where are we gonna go ahead, Will?
I've just said he's called me a blue-pilled cuck many times, but I am still a fan.
JC says Pete tries to be edgy. He is edgy. Like, let's be real. He's entertaining. Like, I love that guy. I can't. Like,
he's got it. I've heard in real life even he just has this energy that's just like, pulls you in.
He doesn't like the word based, I don't think, but that's a proper description of him.
I've been on the phone with other libertarians, just almost like in crybaby voices, just being like, "Peter's gone into full fascism." So that's pretty based, if you like.
And I've always said, of all the criticisms that the Mises Caucus gets, his are the most valid to me. Just to be fair.
What would you characterize his criticisms? Like, could you like boil it down into like one good?
His philosophy on anarchy is just not gonna work.
Kind of like where he's just like the libertarian
party. Once you understand the power structures that really run the world, outside of messaging, the Libertarian Party probably won't achieve much. But also at the same time, he's emphasizing local politics, which is what we're trying to do anyway. So I do think there is some ability to the LP if we go that route. But honestly, I think you just have to, once you learn the power structures, man, and figuring out more and more about how way the world works, you're realizing what's actually worth your time doing and what's not. Yeah,
the best thing Pete is most accurate on is like the black pill, where it's like things do look pretty bleak. Like you can still be optimistic and read the white pill. Is that Michael Malice's book?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Yeah. Like there's different cases to be made, but like they're in conflict they're like fighting each other, and who knows what's going to win out. But
to be black pilled is to give up. So we can't afford to do that.
Yeah, I'm not.
You always have to retain that optimism.
I'm not giving up, but
do a million different strategies. Like I don't get why people can't do a bunch of like.
Right.
I always laugh because I always say like, "Hey, I actually don't believe in the political process, but I'm still putting energy towards it because I can. I'm showing up. It's cathartic for me to yell at it or to like say shit to them. So it's like I'm getting something out of it too, But
can you do me a favor, Force Mommy? Next time you do that, just go full Alex Stein.
Okay. Wouldn't that be fun?
Oh man, I love. It's catching
sparklers.
on. I've seen more videos of people just pulling Alex Stein type stuff where they're just make a complete mockery out of it. You seen like the people with like they'll be like talking like all bro and party. Like we, there's noise complaint ordinances, bro, and like we have a right to like party and like I can't talk like that, but you get what I'm saying. It's hilarious.
It's a hard energy to match.
It is, yeah.
99 all the time, prime time.
Man, I watched that video like 30 times. Like
just on the blip eating shrimp.
I still love the AOC interaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Expose her as a total actress. Like she was totally cool with it until her publicist figured out like what, or her aide or her, told her who the hell he was, and then she figured out, oh, I can turn this into some sort of Twitter drama, which is what the role she's hired to do.
Y'all are gonna really hate her when she's president.
No,
I thought you were gonna say pregnant.
I would love it. No, honestly, I'm whatever. The more ridiculous, the better. I think that she would fit the bill perfectly.
She would be a good president.
I mean, I see it in the future. I see like a president AOC. Just being
dude, be prepared for a Gavin Newsom run. I think that's coming.
Yeah, maybe.
We'd have our own Justin Trudeau, basically, right? Good looking, flick back hair.
Fruity Trudy.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of that train that derailed and blew up?
It's crazy shit, man.
Yeah. No, it was good that they were able to burn off the chemicals, though.
Yeah, right.
Safe and effective.
Have you seen
Again, I don't know what to believe. I don't know what to believe with it all.
Have you seen videos of people throwing shit in the river and like you just see
all the chemicals just come to the surface?
Yeah.
That's you're talking. I mean, you're talking decades of dead riverways.
Oh,
hey,
there he is.
Chatterbox
dressed up in a collar shirt like a civilian.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Kind of.
All right.
What did you? Yeah, but what was I going to say about that? Yeah, so we had we blew up the Nord Stream pipeline. We had that. We just decided to burn off chemicals from a train. The EPA's not even coming in to help with anything, but they're worried about our gas stoves.
Like FEMA turned them down.
Yeah, it's kind of
wild.
wild.
What they fucking exist to do, like.
Yeah. No.
Well, they exist to extort us, but
well,
yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, on the surface, I should have clarified.
I just love how
unlibertarian, we're kicking them out.
Our Department of Transportation, whatever, Pete B.
Pete Buttigieg.
Thank you. I always have trouble with his last name. Thank you.
Water.
So I love how he deflected to the fact that there's 1,000 derailments every year. Like that's a good thing. Like no. I mean, yeah, this one seems bad, but I mean, honestly, there's 1,000 every year, and it's like a year and a half, 2 years ago, there was a derailment 3,000 feet behind my house, and they spilled 40,000 gallons of hydrochloric acid into a lake and killed anything that was in the lake. And it's like, and
when was this?
This was the. Did you not hear about that?
You said 3 years ago?
No, a year and a half ago or so.
Okay.
Yeah. And
that's hilarious because like the train derailed like 30 minutes from me like 4 months ago.
but then Pete's like, no, it's not that big of a deal. Actually, it happens all the time. It's like, how does that make it not a big deal? And I don't know if you've seen some of these videos about how bad the tracks are in some of these places, but like the trains.
That video was fake. What they did is they zoomed in. So they had like a long lens or whatever that means. So they zoomed in. So then the train would have been just barely moving because it was covering so much track. And then they just sped up the train. So it looked like it was wobbling and going all crazy.
But have you seen the tracks themselves?
If you're talking about that video, but
there's all kinds of people going. There's lots of videos now.
Okay.
Yeah, I was, and they might all be fake. But
well, it's not so much that's fake. It's not properly displayed, kind of thing.
I mean, it's just like why is our infrastructure in such disrepair in this country?
Well, and look at other countries' trains. Like they're all like sleek and like floating and like just
fast
from the future, and ours are still looking like they were like from the 80s, 70s.
I was talking. Did you guys already cover, Daniel? Did you guys already cover all the stuff that you know about the power of the railroads?
No, we didn't talk about that at all.
I wish we could have John on the podcast. He had a lot of insight on that. Or did you?
I know
You're talking
a
about the
little bit.
insurance on it, but
Well, tell us your angle, Daniel.
Because you were telling me
I just-
basically they have more power than the government.
Yeah, that's what I've heard, and with the research that I've done, basically they're unsuable. They have special protections, so basically they can get away with just about. I mean, maybe literally murder. I guess I wouldn't know, but they can get away with pretty much anything, and that's where it's like when the train derailed behind my house. The EPA was going to, like, there were millions of dollars in fines every day is what was the conversation, and the cleanup took a week. So, you know, you're talking excess of $15 million in fines from the EPA, and then it came out a month or so later that the Union Pacific, I think it was, said they're not paying a dime, and it's going to be held up in litigation for the next 50 years. And
those damn unions.
Yeah, but I mean, it's interesting because they're basically a government unto themselves, except they actually have seemingly more power than our government. Basically,
Do you think that's because of old money? Like, is that just old money and power from a long time ago that they've built, or is there something else going on?
Well, I think it definitely harkens back to when the railroads were being built, because they were given undue powers to basically take land that they needed in order to build the railroad. Otherwise, theoretically, it wouldn't have been able to happen. It would have been too expensive, and it would have been like that. So they were given basically powers to go in and act even more cruel than the government, taking people's land at gunpoint. And they, not to mention that the railroad was built on the back of slavery.
I was just gonna say they used slave labor to build them.
Yeah, so it's like the whole thing was corrupt.
It was white slave labor.
Well, yes,
Chinese. It doesn't really count.
Not quite white.
Yellow
Asian.
stripe.
Yellow.
Chinese are the only ones that are better than white, in my opinion.
Well,
exactly.
Yeah,
so they should be put into slavery.
White slaves are actually better and more productive.
I feel like I want to ask more questions, but I feel like that guy who like comes in halfway through the story and then like keeps asking, and then you're like, okay, we're gonna start the movie over just for Derek. You know what I mean?
No,
you came in right when we started talking about
favorite slaves, race wise.
Yeah, which race would you most want to enslave?
Let's
start with Forrest Mommy.
Okay,
I'd answer it.
Yeah. You're lucky we're not playing that other game we were gonna play.
I'm gonna say Italians.
Oh man.
Hey, what's the big deal about it big? Why are you enslaving my people?
That would be the last people I would enslave. They would just like form a mafia like immediately and enslave us.
Well, the Italians are actually difficult to govern because they've had so many governments overthrow them. Different versions of tyrannical governments overthrow them that they're actually like they don't have there's like a general disrespect for the law. I went to Italy like 15 years ago with my grandma, and I was just a kid, and you only see what they want you to see. You're a tourist, right? It's not like North Korea that you only see what they want you to see, but you see like the tourist attraction stuff, right? But anyways, yeah, so there was just like a lot of just like graffiti all over everything, and I like that because I'm a big hip hop fan, and hip hop encompasses more than just like rap music, right? Part of that is the graffiti and the dance culture and everything. So I loved seeing the graffiti everywhere, and I was asking about like if people were graffitiing on these things in America, you'd get in like these like these really like these public structures, these big things that are right in downtown, and people are like tagging on them. And so I was like, wouldn't you get in trouble? And they basically said that it's so common that there's nothing they can really do about it. And that I kind of like that kind of stuff. That's kind of like like we're all going to disobey the law. We're all agreeing we're going to disrespect this law, and then they're not going to do anything about it. And I think there should be a lot more of that.
No, it's funny. I parked in front of a no parking during school hours sign, just like everyone else does to pick up my kids. It's basically the same
Badass.
thing. I know. I was gonna say it's
Dude.
it's
Yeah,
I bet you
basically the same
jaywalk
thing.
too.
Dude, Sam, you're a certified badass, dude.
I know, right? It's basically the same thing as graffitiing.
I feel like-
That was
Yeah.
my point.
I feel like you're giving Pete a run for his money on edginess.
Yeah, exactly.
Sam pulls up there, looks at the sign, and says, "The black flag comes in many colors."
I'll be rolling. All right, Derek, you want to go next? Which race would you enslave?
I've been trying to seriously think about this, but I have two other things on my mind. One is the fact that Will
All right,
thinks
Brett.
he can just casually smoke and drink in my mom's house. Don't you know I'm in my mom's basement right now? You can't smoke in here, dude.
This is a blend, and this is blueberry wine. You know,
Okay.
it's
Just
part of my
bless it.
stick.
Just bless it first. You're fine.
Bless it. Yeah.
And
That's true. We're in communion with you, a capitalist communion, right?
yes.
Yeah, bro. If you
don't know,
podcast with me, you're in my communion.
The first thing I thought of is like Hispanic people, obviously, right? Because they work really hard. There's this thing too where like racism goes the other way too. People are like, oh, it's just hatred, but it's also like when I see a bunch of white guys working on a roof, I'd be like, I look at the company name and I'm like, I'm never hiring them. 'Cause there's no way they're doing a good job. They're probably smoking meth. Right? They're the type of guys that get tattoos on their hands and faces. You know what I mean? Like, not gonna happen.
You're talking
Definitely-
about culture here.
Definitely Mexican people.
You say that, but can you name every race? All right, Daniel, you're up next.
Oh man, yeah. No, this is hard, but I think the U.S. government got it right with the Native Americans.
Why? You have to elaborate.
Yeah.
No, I that's the only thing I could think of. My going back, I have like 2% Native American blood, and so I'm proud of it. That's about the most of anything that I have. I've got about 20 different ethnicities, so I'm a pure blood mutt. But
Sure.
yep. So no, I just I don't know. I was thinking of the worst thing I could possibly say.
What is the
That is
deal
the
with
worst.
that?
That's
I'm
We're
not,
getting them all. The WAPs.
I'm not judging you,
Hispanic.
Yeah, but which
Did she
tribe?
just say WAP? But what is that with white people that we like? They like to claim being Native American, even if it's only 2%. Why is that? I think that's really weird.
I
see
like to
it
claim
coming.
everything.
I totally get it, but
But that
I'm
one
also-
a little bit more.
I'm also about 2% Irish, and I just to be clear, I want that to be known.
He's also. I hope like certain people aren't watching, but he's also Jewish.
Cat's out of the bag.
I don't have a
Which is
bell, but
bio.
I've got.
Yeah.
I don't have a bell, but I've got this.
What is it? I can't
Every
hear
time
it. What was it?
Every time someone
no
says that one of those names, I don't have a bell, but I'll do.
No, me, no.
I would never claim that I had Native American ancestry because I don't want people to think my ancestors were losers.
Wow.
Oh, that's rough.
JC
But
is
if
being
you were
edgy.
2% black, would you always bring
That
up
was my
The
second
Uyghurs.
That was my.
I
second
actually have a
choice.
buddy who's like
Or is it pronounced
5
Wiggers?
I literally have a buddy who's like 5% black. Like we actually like went through his genealogy and figured out the percentage. And
Reparations.
we brought up this question because he scars very differently than like normal white people. Like that's the only trait that he carried forward. Like he's
He
like the whitest guy I
scars
know.
differently.
Yeah, like his scars like kind of raise up above the skin.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
See all the
that-
white people in
that's
the
what-
also-
That's what led him down that rabbit hole.
Wow.
all the white people in the room were like, I didn't know that they scarred differently. Okay. There's like this
I don't know.
awkward
Is that-
like silence.
Is that really a thing?
Oh.
I don't know. That's what he.
Like if your skin's a different color, your scarring is going to be white. So I could see that, but I wouldn't think it would look any different apart from
Guys,
that.
I think I might be part black too.
Mhm.
You scar weird.
I do scar weird. I just thought I was weird, but I'm probably like 2% black also.
Your hair.
I'm pretty much like 100% German or close to it.
I think I'm gonna pick.
That makes sense, Brett.
I think I'm gonna pick the Jews just to be edgy. Brett, what would you pick? Or did he? Did
I'm more of a-
no.
Well, since he took my first choice.
Kidding.
Kidding. I'm more of a traditionalist, so I'm
He's
gonna
go with the
Slavs.
Brits. Oh, yeah, there you go. Bring it back to old times. All right, well, you're up. Did you go? I'm losing track here.
Yeah, I went. You shouldn't. Don't ask me these kind of questions, man. My southern accent comes out.
All right, we know it's blacks.
We're gonna get this channel banned real quick. Y'all's answers were cute, and I'm not gonna give mine.
I just want to say, everyone, get the vaccine. Support Pfizer. What else? Let's do some NPC stuff.
Yeah.
Get the vaccine.
Praise Lord Fauci. He's never wrong.
We must support Israel and their I don't even know.
Biden is the healthiest. Biden is healthier than the average 20-year-old. Well, that actually might be true after they all took the vaccine.
I think Biden is a great should be the poster boy of like drugs. Like legalizing drugs, because whatever they're putting them on for like
give me half. I don't need the full dose he's taking. But yeah,
I'll take the full dose.
Yeah.
Will Bell, you gonna take the full dose?
Yeah, man. Whatever y'all got giving out, just give me. I'll try anything once.
What if you're putting him on drugs to make him dumb, and he's actually really a genius? Like he gets off
and
the
he's
drugs.
Been on drugs for a very, very long time.
Like one day they like forget to give him the drugs, and he's like, "My son died because of the burning pits." They're like, "More drugs, more drugs."
Yeah, that poor dude. That's all that's like keeping him going. He's just a husk of a human being, just being pushed into this, and they're just sign this, Joe. He's like, oh, what's going on? We're at war with who?
Yeah, I do want to say
we released your daughter's diary. Like, don't make us do more.
I do have to say though, like some of the ways that we talk about him being stupid and dumb and old and slow and all that stuff, sometimes I feel like and then when we also blame his administration for things that are happening, it's like we can't have both. We can't say he's a moron and the administration is evil. I think the thing that is the most illuminating about Biden is that how much of a puppet show everything actually is. And so for people like us, we just take it as like, oh, of course we already know that. But imagine being like an average Democrat now and seeing that. Like, how do you have to live in a weird level of cognitive dissonance to not see that it's just a puppet show now?
So most Democrats.
You just said Nazi.
Did I say Nazi?
You did. You literally every time someone says I did not see something coming or this or that, like, it just clicks in my mind every single time.
Did we cover the expansion of the legislation that's going on in Minnesota right now? Did you guys talk about that yet?
Briefly.
I mentioned it.
Okay, like the gun.
I don't know which one. There's a ton of them that I fucking hate. Like trying to ban gas lawnmowers and chainsaws. Exception to snowmobile or snowblowers, but you know my old man has a snowblower attachment for his rider lawnmower, so yeah, that would not, you know.
What do you think, Brett? What do you think is the motivation of this stuff for them? Because like the gun control one seems pretty obvious, right? It's to you know, that makes sense. But I mean, not to me, obviously, but from their perspective, you know, you don't want to have an armed resistance. But why would they ban gas-powered lawn equipment?
It's the continuation of the Davos narrative.
What's the Davos narrative?
Like Great Reset stuff. Like they're trying to bring that shit into Minnesota. I really do believe that they have full capture of Democratic Party and a lot of the GOP. And Minnesota's they're trying to turn that into the California of the Midwest.
It's
They're going
tough to
full steam
talk.
ahead.
It's tough to talk to like Republican type people too, because they believe that we just got to get the Republicans in there and it's going to fix everything, and they don't understand that like their own party's working against them. It's very obvious too what's happening. Like in Bemidji, was it Bemidji? They had 33 alternates and delegates that got banned from being part of their BPOU or their convention or whatever. Did you hear about that?
What's
Yeah,
BPOU for the non-nerds?
I don't remember what it stands
Basic
for. But it's
political
basically
operating
like,
unit.
Thank you.
yeah, it's like a little. It's like an affiliate, right?
Yes, which is
Yeah,
what
it's like
every one of our like local affiliates should be a BPOU. I think
that's a goal, but yeah, they had 33 people that they like basically banned them from voting during the convention because they weren't. This is according to what I saw. It's because they weren't supporting the establishment Republicans.
Oh well, I heard
And then
they
like down in Congression. Go ahead.
What? Oh no, I heard they
What was that?
when we were up gathering petitions for Bull's Senate run. They actually had a GOP operative like taking pictures. She got a hold of a clipboard. It was taking pictures of the names, and anyone who was a registered Republican, they actually kicked them out of the party that was on that list, and they actually kicked out like a dozen of them or so. With all they went through, like somehow they got a hold of a lot of the clipboard, took a bunch of pictures, and just for signing a ballot access petition to get a libertarian on the ballot.
What do you think?
I kind of get it.
Well,
like if someone was working.
Oh yeah.
Like if someone was working for the Republican Party, yeah, I mean, libertarians were a third party. We have to work with everyone a little bit more, but like, I don't know. Like if you were a major party and you see someone in another party, like I'd be like, no.
We have people in our party that have been active in other BPOUs.
Yeah, like if you're a minor party, I get it. If you're a major party, like you want to gatekeep from people from other parties, I would say.
Oh no, I totally understand it from the party's perspective.
Yeah,
but I mean, why wouldn't they do that? But I mean, it's still like it just shows how that's just how cutthroat politics are, even within inter-party politics.
Well, I worked last year in the Republican Party. I went through the whole caucusing process, and it was really demoralizing because the whole time, like every time you would make strides, you would obviously have popularity at the base, without question. But then it's less than 1% of the entire party, the voting population decides who is going to be on the ballot. And so you might have clear popular support for a candidate, but then you're working with against the establishment who's putting up like basically these stone walls, and it's like they have, even in the caucus, they might have a slim majority, but they pull all these dirty moves, and it's just the way that they stonewall anybody who has any different idea other than the establishment narrative is basically just shut down. And that's where it was just a very demoralizing experience working with that, because it kind of goes back down to like just how broken things are, where you think, well, we can just get popular support behind these ideas and fix the system. And it's like, well, no, you have to get enough popular support to basically break the party system to be able to fix anything, because the parties are both controlled by the establishment. And so as things exist, there is no fixing it. First, the entire thing has to be broken, and
there's
so
so
it can be rebuilt.
Yeah, there's so much deep capture from the establishment. It's actually the Anglo-American establishment. There probably isn't a political solution outside of local, if you're going to get involved in like serious politics at all.
I've heard that I've heard someone say like a year ago, I can't remember who it was, someone was like, the problem with libertarians is we don't have a mindless voting block.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I think
I've
lot
never
of us
heard that
like
before. That makes a hell of a lot of sense.
Well, that's what building your own culture is.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead.
A lot of us like think for ourselves, and we like to be
But-
independent thinkers, and then we attract other people who are independent thinkers and think outside of the box and are willing to question the narrative and authority and stuff. And so that's who we bring around us. And then, but that doesn't give us like a bunch of people who we can be like, hey, they're screwing you up. They're going to screw you over on the next election. Vote for this guy. You know, they don't.
But they have so much control, or even the culture too. I mean, like Hollywood's been a propagandist machine since its very beginnings.
Mhm.
I mean, if you want to go on some wild rabbit holes down Hollywood, I mean, I can point in the direction of a couple guys you should listen to. Like Jay Dyer's great. But yeah, so what's happening now with like shit like this, like podcasts, you know, there is a counterculture rising up, and you know, you could see channels that start to get big and swatted down. Clint's channel just got nuked.
Yeah, what do y'all think's gonna like come of that? Y'all think he'll get his channel back? Or?
I think he
Maybe.
will. I'm surprised. Well, he's
It'll be
going
some
on.
time, but maybe if it does, but it won't be. Yeah, I don't know.
He's going on Timcast, so
Yep.
that might help him. He'll be able to do a shout out there, and I would imagine he'd get back. They usually lose it and then get it back unless they're super edgy, and he's pretty good about saving it safe. And
yeah, but no, he had that FBI whistleblower though. That's what I think did it.
Do you think if he goes on
I've had
Timcast,
strikes. They come after me, so it doesn't matter what you say. They just come after you. I won one appeal though, so.
well, Clint's never even got his Twitter banned, so he kind of
Yeah.
knows.
He's very
He's a
careful
goody
with his
two
Twitter.
shoes is what he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
do you think he'll get his channel back if he goes on Timcast and he puts a black hood over his head and he starts talking about certain people a lot?
Only if he has a net and a bottle of Yoo-Hoo with him.
So what did you get? Did you get banned, shadow banned, or did you just get warnings?
On YouTube? On YouTube?
Yeah, you were.
On my YouTube, I had one strike, or like one, you get like a warning one where they take something down, but you like don't have a strike. And then I got a second strike. Both of those were about, it ended up being, we were talking about the history of the WHO and the eugenicists and everything, the World Health Organization, and just, it's like literally a facts about it. But they were like, we go by what the WHO says. So I got a strike for that one. And then they tried to give me a strike for one. They said it was so creepy. They came back and they're like, you were saying there was inconsistencies and things that happened during the 2020 election. Like it was that specific. And we didn't talk about none of that shit. And it was like so specific and weird. So we appealed that one and won that appeal. So, but I haven't been streaming to YouTube for a while. I've just been on Rumble and other spots because I'm like, I'm just going to wait a while because if you can lose your channel, like Clint just lost his channel. So.
Yeah.
That seems really weird that they would be that specific. Usually they seem to be vague on purpose.
It was so
That's
creepy.
so
And then
weird.
it was like, what? Like specifically the 2020 election. Just weird.
Yeah.
What were you guys talking about on the show that they could even reference back to that?
So the person who made the documentary about the World Health Organizations also made a documentary about the history of voter fraud. And so he like really briefly did say something about voting, but it wasn't anything about 2020. It was about other stuff. And they didn't give us a specific spot. They just gave the appeal. Hey, Jess in the chat.
So that almost makes me feel like it's not just like a computer algorithm. If it's that oddly specific about something that's being subtly referenced, it's obviously like a person with an agenda.
Yeah, I think the person who the strikes happened with has been the same person each time, and I think they're after him too. So
you
Isn't
think
that kind
it's
of
probably
cool though? Like right now, we're probably being watched by feds, and we're like, we could be.
Oh, that's terrifying! Every time my phone makes a weird sound and I'm on a call, I'm like, "Fuck, they're fucking listening."
If you're not being watched,
you know it's happening.
Dude, I was talking to Rebecca.
Hilarious, like the Fed is watching the channel we're putting out, but getting like feedback from his.
What for propaganda? The feds think about it.
I was talking to Rebecca earlier, and she started to sound like a robot, and I'm like, "Well, they're definitely listening to Rebecca. Like, I don't know if they're listening to me, but they're definitely listening to Rebecca Whiting."
Well, and with AI taking off, like they can listen. Like they don't have like someone in a room listening with like a tape reeling, you know, like they can record it and do AI searches on everything you're saying. And
Well, think about like
Kinda
what they
interesting.
think about subterfuge. Like, what if they could like basically like listen to the conversation and then they could cut the line but have an AI take over and talk to each party, so they think they're still talking to each other, but then
Totally
misdirection.
possible, I'm sure.
What
Like
if
just with
AI right now?
Diet Ian right here.
no, I'm
kidding.
just like, but like on Timcast they were talking. They uploaded these 10 megabyte files with different voices, and they got like it sounded like the people.
Was
and
that
it
the Jimmy
just
Dore
AI.
episode?
No, it was before that, but they talked
wow.
about it on Jimmy Dore.
Yeah,
crazy.
no, like the era of not being able to believe videos and audio is like already here. Like
Right.
you can't trust this shit anymore. Like,
Oh yeah,
and I'm sure there's gonna have to be some sort of software that scans to see if this is actually like legit or edited. But I mean, I've only heard just recently some company that's like working on that. But yeah, I mean, we're definitely entering into some uncharted waters.
another area that the conspiracy
I'll
theorists got right.
For sure.
I said this in a chat with Brett, and we were talking.
Derek's the robot.
Derek's cutting out.
Yeah, he's the AI motherfucker. We're gonna have to cut him out. Yeah, fuck all that.
He said something too
Boris, mommy, thank you for coming on. Like, that was
Thank
super
you
cool.
again for having me. You guys are fun.
Absolutely. This was a.
And are you all going to the rally?
No.
Unfortunately, I had prior commitments planned a long time ago for this weekend that I really couldn't make it. I got family.
We're just on Twitter.
Yeah, we're slacktivists.
Slacktivists.
It's fun.
No,
though. It is fun.
I did
was so
want
tempted to go,
really
but
did. Yeah.
my wife kept telling me no. She's pregnant and in the first trimester. So.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not fucking spending the money to go to DC. Sorry, So
I would have went, but Buddy, who's probably watching right now, wouldn't go with me. So that's all shame, Buddy, for not going with me.
Anybody can be. We can be your buddy, Will.
I would have gone, but I just have a moral. I
don't believe in Washington D.C.
I can't step into such a morally defunct place without just
Yeah,
soul crushing weight. Like I just.
I've never been. I have no reason to go.
Sometimes Frodo has to go into Mordor, bro. And
I wasn't
gonna. I went there in a class trip for my senior year of high school. I've said that on this show a couple times. I was there for a week, and yeah, I saw pretty much all I would want to see. Now I didn't know then what I know now, but
right.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna go. But there's this guy that keeps messaging me. Do you guys know Ray Epps? He keeps telling me to go, so it's gonna be peaceful and all that.
I'm back.
Something about a tour in the Capitol building.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess let's all just hope everybody at the rally behaves and we, make some peaceful waves and sing kumbaya and end the wars and all that kind of jazz.
Do you think they're going to put people in? Do you think they're going to plant people in the crowd?
Yeah, of course.
Maybe. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I wouldn't.
They'll probably be libertarians even in there. Probably
There'll be a girl in yoga pants there. There'll be a girl in yoga pants there.
We're powerless. We don't know what to do.
What's the yoga pants?
We don't want to get into it.
I don't know. I don't know if it's likely. I don't know if that's something this is the type of event they would want to even draw attention to in the first place. So I don't think they would. But
well, I'm sure there's going to be ridiculous security there, and I'm sure
the reason why January 6th happened because they wanted the attention drawn towards.
What do you think about Angela McArdle telling everybody to not carry?
Yeah, smart. Don't tempt
Smart.
fate. Don't fucking bring guns to the Capitol. Are you insane? The most heavily surveilled city in the country, maybe outside Las Vegas.
They'll park all their asses right by all the Trump people.
They're
gonna do it anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they might.
Hopefully, I don't know.
Definitely, if they go in there carry guns and shit and scare people, but I mean.
No, if you have a big armed march, it better be like in the hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
Not something like this,
not like three dudes looking badass.
Yeah. What do you think about?
Yeah, although you have to be such overwhelming numbers, they couldn't possibly prosecute them all. Like otherwise.
What do you think about the gun? They're going to do that rally at the 2A rally
It's legal to carry
March
guns
25th.
into the Capitol as the law is written right now in Minnesota. I think they're trying to change that too, but
Thanks,
it
Ray.
is legal right now, so do it while you can if you show up.
Are you going to be
All right.
open carrying or conceal?
Open carry.
Because you're going. I just assumed you were going.
No, I'm not. I already have prior commitments this whole weekend. Sorry.
So Forest Mommy, like what?
The day rally.
I'm kicking
was
the
that?
robot out.
Kick him out. Be gone. Forest Mommy, you got anything to plug?
No, just follow me on Twitter at Forest Mommy on my original account. We got a link tree on there and stuff. So
And then you have a podcast too, right?
yeah, we have it's on YouTube, but we're just basically on Rumble and Odyssey right now. So
All right, yeah. Send me the links. I'll put them in the description.
okay,
Then
will do.
Will, I'll let you wrap up, I guess.
Well, hey, guys, y'all got anything y'all want to plug before we?
You can follow at Black Flag Pod.
Yeah.
And Daniel, what's your?
I'm at Ryan_Hanson, RYAN_HANSON.
Nice.
I guess
But-
I'm on Twitter, at Lindenfelser191.
Y'all need better names, man.
I know,
Is
right?
Lindenfeld? Is all the other Lindenfelters
Way to
taken?
take the momentum.
I don't even know. I came up with
on
that Twitter handle like back in like 2011. I don't know how long
I
ago I created it, but then
I
I
like
left
Brett
that dormant
Ballistic.
for years.
That just makes it worse.
You need to lean into Brett Ballistics. I like that.
Brett Ballistics. Do it, man. Yeah. And then you can
Oh,
also
Good name,
follow
yeah.
at Chatterbox, I believe is Chatterbox, but he made it the O a 0,
Ooh,
and he has 3
edgy.
X's, so you'll never remember it.
Hell yeah. And y'all don't have to follow me. Just drink my wine, rabbiteyewine.com, buy it, and all that kind of jazz. And, if you're going to Washington, D.C., be safe, and see y'all next week.
All right, everyone, stay vaccinated.